Welcome in to Kickin It with Jake and Noah. That is the official TV opening of this year's FIFA World Cup in Brazil. And we started with 64 matches to be played, 32 teams, only 4 teams remain, and only 4 games remain. The semifinals, the finals, and the third place game, and it's coming down to the wire. And I know every big soccer fan out there is very excited to see how it plays out. I'm Noah Ep.4 here with my co-host, Jake Liker, who is in Los Angeles right now. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm still trying to get over the news that turns out the Orlando City show isn't happening because, quote, no one cares, end quote. So I'm still coping with that. But you know what? One day, Orlando City will become an actual thing. But no, in all seriousness, I'm doing well. I'm kind of upset with how things have turned out in the World Cup. All the teams I wanted to win lost, but all the teams I picked, at least round by round, won. So we'll see how things turn out. But yeah, I can't believe it. I'm doing a soccer show, and this time it's not all about the World Cup. I'm excited to shake things up and test my knowledge, see how much I can learn or add to my knowledge.
Okay, yeah, of course. So we're obviously going to talk about the end of the World Cup, but we're coming to the end, and soccer goes on. The World Cup isn't the be-end and end-all, though it may be for many fans in the U.S., but the U.S., according to some statistical analysis, is doing a lot better in terms of becoming real soccer fans, not just World Cup fans. So that's good news to hear if you are a soccer fan in the U.S., that soccer is finally gaining a lot more respect. And if that continues, hey, 2026 World Cup? Maybe. But we'll also be talking about Luis Suarez potentially going to Barcelona, and if he allegedly he was going since November. So that'll be interesting. We'll be talking some Premier League and Real Madrid, and we'll also be previewing the ICC, otherwise known as the International Champions Cup, which will be held starting on, I believe, July 20th or July 24th, somewhere in that range, and going through into the beginning of August. And we'll be highlighting the upcoming FIFA events and talking a little bit about them. But we have to start somewhere, and the best place to start is where we are right now. Tomorrow, we have the World Cup semifinals. We have Brazil versus Germany. We've got Netherlands versus Argentina. Oh, and really quickly, if you want to call in, 224-563-8444. Again, 224-563-8444. That will be in the comment section below. Also, you can follow us on Facebook at Kickin It with Jake and Noah. And that's with a W, big capital W and a slash. Just so you know. Okay, now we can start. And we'll start with the host nation, Brazil, who lost, unfortunately, Neymar to a broken vertebrae, his third vertebrae in his lumbar region of his spine, which is connected to the nerves in his core and his thighs, and unfortunately he's out 40 to 41 days. There were people allegedly talking about how he may play in the final, but he denied it, and it's not going to happen unless he wants to risk his career as well, and I don't think he wants to do that. Thiago Silva suspended as well, so they will have to employ Dante and Willian, the Afro men of the team, to take over for them, and it's not going to be easy against an experienced German team, but you never know. Jake, talk about the matchup and a little bit of what you think could play as a factor into this Brazil versus Germany game.
Well, I mean, obviously, the loss of, pardon the pun, their team's backbone in Neymar is going to hurt them, obviously. How much will it hurt them is up to the Brazilian squad. Because, you know what? He won't be very missed. He won't be as missed as he could be. Should it turn out that players who still have yet to break through really step up. And that's what we've been waiting for. We've seen a lot of players on that team struggle. Bruno Alves, for one. I don't even think he was... I think he was like a reserve for the last game. I'm not sure.
He was. Mike Cohen started over him.
And so we're at the point where Brazil has a prestige, a pedigree, if you will, and they are not playing up to their standards. and yet they've still made it far, which is really a testament to how good and how much depth there is with this squad. So I believe how much the loss of Neymar and Thiago Silva affects Brazil is in Seleção's hands. We've seen Brazil play dirty, well, not dirty, ugly, I should say, for lack of a better term. It's gotten them through, but now they're going to be playing against Germany. And Germany has also done well when it comes to playing ugly. And I don't think Brazil can beat Germany at Germany's game. So we might just have to see Brazil go back to the Brazil that we're used to seeing. The finesse. We want to see why people call it the beautiful game. Brazil is normally the team that exhibits why it's called the beautiful game. We haven't seen that at all. It's looked like, a football game that's going to end in 6-3. So I believe that Brazil can't continue to play ugly. They have to change things up. I have faith in Scolari. If they've made it this far, though, I certainly don't question their will to win and their ability to win. I think it would be very wrong to count them out at this point, especially in the home nation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Brazil, though they haven't been convincing and have been ridiculed by Brazilians and Brazilian legends, they've gotten it to this point. Luis Felipe Scolari playing the same system he led last time, but let's just remember, in the year he won the World Cup, 2002, he had the great Ronaldo in the best year he ever had in a World Cup, scoring 8 goals, the record. And this year he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that same level of talent. Neymar is great, but he's not having that kind of World Cup, and he got injured. So what Scolari really has to do is rally them, not as individuals, but as a team. If this team has to play great team soccer next game, because they do not have that individual starlet anymore. Hulk has been good, but not that level. They don't have one individual that can carry them. They need Oscar to chip in. They need Willian to chip in. They need Hulk, Fred, David Luiz. They need everybody to play together, not as individuals. They need to be a cohesive unit. Another important thing to look at is definitely how their back line holds up in terms of direction. It's not so much their skill levels going down. Dante is an adequate replacement who is a very good footballer, but unfortunately, he's not the captain. And that's the biggest thing. The question is now, who will direct the defense? Will it be David Luiz, who is more known of being a quiet guy kind of on the back line, doesn't really talk that much, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. Will they give the job to Julio Cesar to direct the back line? Will Dante take over? Will it be Marcelo? It's a complicated unit here to see what they will do, but they do have to get it down right because Germany has a lot of talent. Otherwise, Mueller, yes, Jake?
And I want to add one more thing because there is another big factor that could come into play. Because you mentioned David Luiz and how he sort of broke out of the box last game with that goal from a free kick. Most of Brazil's goals have come from set pieces. So I think that also the way the game is officiated could play a big part.
Oh, yeah.
If we have a referee who is quick to blow the whistle and Brazil gets a lot of opportunities on set pieces, that definitely would play into Brazil's favor. The more set pieces, the better for Brazil, which means, you know what, we might actually have to see some more diving from that team. I don't like diving one bit. I don't think anyone really does.
Yeah.
But there are things, it's sad to say, but the officiating could end up playing a big part in this game.
Let's also talk about the ref. He was the Suarez bite guy, but I think what people are forgetting is there was a red card in that game and a couple of yellows as well. So he's not afraid to blow the whistle. He's not afraid to kick people out of the game for fouls that may or may not be red cards. But we'll see how that plays out. But when it comes to the defense, they do have to get it down right because with the offense that Germany has, though they're not known for it, they do have a lot of talent on that front line. Coming out of Mesut Ozil, Bastian Schweinsteiger, and of course Thomas Mueller, who everybody knows is one of the best scorers in the World Cup. I mean, he's already up to 9 goals in his World Cup career, which is a substantial number considering the record is only 15. So he's getting there quickly. So they do have to watch out for that. and it'll be interesting to see what it comes down to. I think it's a very, very Germany-favored match. However, I think Brazil has played in a couple of games now where, though they were picked, that I don't think they were necessarily the better team going in, and they found a way to win. And I think the most important thing is not really who's the most talented team, it's who knows how to get it done when you need to get it done. So, in the end, I think that Brazil pulls it out. Barely. And I think it's going to have to be another low-scoring game because I think everybody's expecting fireworks, but I think we've realized that in this knockout stage, it's not really fireworks. It's kind of the exact opposite. It's like water doesn't work. It's been pretty disappointing in terms of goal scoring, but I think Brazil wins it 2-1. Jake?
Yeah, I know that score often doesn't tell the full story, but while a lot of people have been critical of Brazil, I believe that's because Brazil is the host nation. A lot more people have been paying attention to them. But if you look at what Germany's done, those two teams have seemed to put up almost identical matches when it comes up to the scoreboard. Both teams have won every single game except for a draw in their second match in the group stage. In the round of 16, both teams won by one. Both teams needed extra time to advance. And then in the quarterfinals, both teams pulled it up by 1 goal. So if you're judging it just by the score, I mean, I agree. I think Brazil does deserve this sort of harsh criticism because of the expectation. But you know what? At the end of the day, there is an ability and untapped potential to Brazil that I think is going to be brought out against Germany. I think they're really going to rally the troops. It's only more of a motivation when you see a guy like Neymar go down. This is not just for the Seleção. This is for their nation, for their country. And because of that, it's cliche, it is, but I do believe that they will be able to win this game against Germany at the final score of 2-1 in extra time. But don't mess with Germany in penalty kicks.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all bets are off. Germany is moving up. 2-1 extra time.
I mean, Brazil did get the penalty win against Chile, but it wasn't convincing.
Germany has never lost in penalties ever. You just ask Argentina in 2006.
I know. But, by the way, this is an interesting fact. So, Colombia's coach, Jose Pekerman, coached that Argentina team. Interestingly enough, quarterfinals, host nation, he loses. This year, quarterfinals, host nation, he loses.
Make sure they check Neuer's socks in case they have another penalty kick showdown before he goes in there. We all know what happened last time around. Germany was in penalty kicks.
Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And now we go to the man of the match. Who will be the most important? I'm going to agree with most of Brazil here. This is one of the least talented Brazilian teams that we've had in a very long time. However, that doesn't mean they're one of the worst teams. You know, you can look at even Colombia for an example. Colombia's 1994 team, probably more talented than this team, but that, unfortunately, talent doesn't get you everything. And I think the most important thing here is the tactical efficiency of Brazil. And in order for them to be successful in this game, I think Oscar has to step up, and I think Oscar will be the man of the match. Not necessarily scoring, but providing the spark and providing opportunities to score for Brazil. Jake?
I'm going to go with David Luiz here. Look, I know he's a defender, but the defense and the wingbacks have to hold things down there because Germany loves to attack. They've gotten a lot of shots in this World Cup, so they're going to have to tighten things up, and I think Luiz will be able to do that, and when it comes to set pieces, we know what he can do. So I'm going to say he's going to carry the momentum from last game, and David Luiz, man of the match.
That would make 2 straight man of the matches for David Luiz in the World Cup. So we move on now to the other side of things. Netherlands, Argentina. Netherlands not really a team I think most people expected to see here, but once again they have proven their worth, overcoming a difficult group, a difficult challenge with Mexico, and then having to go to penalties against Costa Rica. But they've made it to this point. Luis van Gaal instituting his tactics to help this team through. And then, of course, Argentina, led by Lionel Messi, who has been doing everything he can to erase the memory of Messi, the guy who doesn't show up for his national team, and he's done so by scoring 4 goals and really inspiring this team for much of the tournament up until the game against Belgium, where they were able to eke out a victory after Gonzalo Higuain's volley from the top of the box to break out of his goal slump. So, we have an interesting matchup. This final has actually happened before. It's not the first time these two teams have played. They're very familiar with each other, and they're both known for being solid teams. However, one of them has won a World Cup, and one of them hasn't. Netherlands, one of those teams. They're the Bills of soccer. But the question is, can they get back to the finals? Can they overcome Argentina? Because what they're going to be thinking about isn't the past. It's about the future and about the present and how they can snap out of that and how they can prove that they aren't the Bills, that they are a world champion. Jake, what do you think of this matchup?
Well, Bo, I just want to mention a quick stat from last time as I was talking about the officiating. The head referee is Mexico's Marco Rodriguez, and coming into the tournament, he was actually the most card-happy official, having dismissed 51 players during 79 international matches leading up, so it'll be interesting to see if he's quick to book again. Now, when it comes to Argentina and Netherlands, the Dutch have found themselves I feel like everyone has found themselves on the ropes here. But Netherlands, a lot of people have questioned the integrity, if you will. Yes, it's become part of the game, but Netherlands has gotten some calls. A lot more calls than other teams. Netherlands has done a little more diving than people would like. I don't think that's going to fly this time. Because, you know what? They easily could have lost that game against Costa Rica. There were multiple occasions, 2 or 3, as a matter of fact. Multiple, but yeah. That Costa Rica could have, and in my opinion should have, been awarded a penalty kick, and were not. Not to take anything away from the Netherlands. They have earned their spot in the semifinal, and they have played well. Guys are stepping up all over the place, and I think that the big story here is Louis van Gaal, because he has taken so many risks, and again, it pays off by putting in Krul. Now, I know you don't think Krul is as amazing as everyone says. I still think that he deserves all the credit in the world. I mean, he made 2 huge saves in that game. Yes, right, he was a penalty specialist, and Van Gaal pays off again. And as a Tottenham supporter, I'm already bitter that Man U snatched him from us. He even said he was considering going to Tottenham. But that's not the point. The point here is that I don't know how much Netherlands have left in the tank. Argentina's loss of Di Maria is going to hurt them. But again, in terms of depth, I really like the depth we've seen from Argentina. Their ability to adapt to different situations. They've played a wide variety of styles in this tournament. You've had your teams like Iran, who are very defensive, but they've also had to face your Switzerland, who's a little more upbeat. And their defense has been very solid here. It's going to be a very defensive match. I think it's just going to come down to who is going to be able to break through and score that one goal, because I don't expect more than one goal to be scored in this game.
Oh, yeah.
But all about defense. Who can last the longest without cracking?
Yeah. Look, Argentina defeated them in the finals of 78. They have another shot to do it again. Argentina, interestingly enough, has not won a game by more than 1 goal. So there is a way to jump on them because they're not putting teams away. However, Netherlands, since that group stage, has done the same. They had a struggle against Mexico and they weren't able to score against Costa Rica. So the question is, which Netherlands do we see? Do we see the Netherlands that stymied Chile and mentally destroyed Spain? Or do we see the Netherlands that had a tough time getting by 2 CONCACAF teams and didn't really show their offensive ability except for in the final 5 to 10 minutes of that Mexico game? And unfortunately for them, I don't think that they're going to be able to beat Argentina. They will definitely have crowd support because, unfortunately, Brazilians and Argentinians don't really get along and even though it's for South America, I have a feeling that Brazil will be rooting for Netherlands. However, Argentina has what it takes. They did lose Di Maria, but Marcos Rojo will be off of his suspension. Lionel Messi, of course, is still at the top of his game, and while Netherlands has looked good, they haven't looked good enough. I think Argentina has what it takes to get back to the finals and meet up with Brazil, which has never happened before, and I think they will do it 1-0. Jake, your predicted score?
I think that we're going to see a key element come up, someone who hasn't been talked about enough, in my opinion. The goalkeeper for Argentina, Sergio Romero, is going to step up. We're going to see some highlight reel-worthy plays from him. And thanks to him, a clean sheet. They only need one goal, and they will get it. From who? That's the question. 1-0 Argentina.
Yeah, and an interesting fact, Monaco now put in an interesting position. Of course, Daniel Subasic, their starting goalie, and Sergio Romero, their backup goalie. Romero has barely even played for that team. So after this performance, does he merit the starting job? That's obviously something that Monaco will have to look at. So we go to man of the match. And I think that there is only one way Argentina wins and only one player who can get this man of the match. And I hate to say it, because I'm not a big fan of Messi, but I have great respect for him, and I think he'll step up, because this is his World Cup. This is his chance to show all of Argentina that he deserves to be considered as good as Diego Maradona. Messi gets man of the match. He scores the one goal. Jake?
To me, I don't think it matters who scores that one goal. I think Sergio Romero is going to get the recognition and respect he deserves. Look, Netherlands' defense has been the more noticeable and prominent, exceptional aspect of this team. But they're still a fantastic offensive squad. And for Romero to put up a clean sheet against them, if he does that, I think he will get man of the match. I think he will do it. So man of the match goes to Sergio Romero for the clean sheet.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's a great pick there as well. I think that Messi will get it just because of the fact, he's Messi. Which is unfortunate. But we'll see. And I think in the end, I don't think Argentina will really care who gets the man of the match if they win this game. So, we will have Argentina-Brazil in the final. We'll have the third place game first. It'll be Germany-Netherlands. Deutschland versus the Dutch. Germany got it last time, and they're becoming experts at third place. So I'll take Germany again here. I'll take Germany to get third place for the third straight time, and because there's less defense played in these games, I'm going to go 3-2 Germany. Jake?
Well, there's no psychic octopus to stop the Netherlands this time. First of all, we're going to see more diving in this game than an Olympic competition. Germany and Netherlands, oh boy, we'll see how it turns out. I don't know how seriously they'll be taking it. You like to finish in that top three. I think the Netherlands will take it. The offensive side that we've really known from them is going to come out again just like they did against Spain. Netherlands win.
Okay. So we now move on to the final. Which, of course, we don't know if it's going to be Brazil-Argentina, but that's what we both believe. The South American showdown, the two best teams in South America. One of them has won 5, one of them only 2. Brazil, the host nation now, every bit of pressure they have felt this whole tournament will be amplified because it's now the finals. Argentina, on the other hand, they will feel the pressure of trying to live up to the standards that have been set in the World Cup of 86 and the World Cup of 78, 2 years that they won. And, of course, Messi will as well. But the question is, who comes out on top? Will Brazil achieve that host nation dream, or will it be Argentina? And, Jake, you've started the past couple, but I'll go this time. If Brazil makes it this far, they can make it one more game. And I think they will. It won't be easy, by any means. But they will, but they will have Thiago Silva back. They will be playing, I believe, at a tip-top level defensively. I think that they will be able to hold Messi at bay. And I think when it counts, I think that the player who has probably been the most underachieving player this tournament, Fred, will score the goal to send them on to the next round. And I think it's going to be another defensive game because Argentina, their games haven't really been that offensive. And neither really have Brazil's. Brazil 1-0 over Argentina in what I believe will be a classic extra time game. Jake.
As you said, if Brazil can make it this far, why can't they win one more? But the same can be said for Argentina. I did pick Brazil to win the whole thing in the beginning, and I don't like to change my pick, so I'm not even giving myself the option to change it to Argentina. But what worries me about Brazil is the mindset. Because it is very easy to get overconfident and overexcited heading into that final. Forget about pressure. If they don't play fantastically against Germany and still win, that's trouble. Because that sends a message that we can still play this way and win. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to give it their all. I think that Brazil needs to make sure that they have their minds in the right place should they make it to the final. Because they can't get overconfident just because they get Thiago Silva back. Just because they made it this far. I'm still going to pick Brazil 3-2. I think both teams' weaknesses, you could say, were defensive line, but Thiago Silva coming back, that's going to make a difference. 3-2, Brazil wins. The man who scored the first goal of this tournament was Marcelo, and it was his own goal. Well, this time the nation will forgive him. 88th minute, he breaks the tie and wins it 3-2.
Okay, so we're on the opposite spectrum. Jake got a little offensive going. I've got a little more of a defensive mindset coming into this game. But it will be great nonetheless. And we will finish up with the 3 awards. Best player award of the tournament, despite the loss, I'm going to give it to Lionel Messi. Best goalkeeper, you know what? I could give it to Romero. I could give it to Julio Cesar. But I think we're going to give it to the player that deserves it most. Manuel Neuer of Germany. He has been phenomenal, shutting out France, shutting out the U.S., shutting out Portugal, and even in that game, losing 1-0, I think that he shows that he is the best goalie. Now, if Netherlands wins it, and even if Tim Krul doesn't play at all for the rest of it, and Jasper Silsa plays, give it to Krul. But unfortunately, I think Neuer gets it because I don't think it's the goalie that wins it all. I think it's the goalie that performs the best overall. And I think that would be Manuel Neuer because for me, he was one of the only reasons that they're actually in this point at all. And for best goal scorer, well, look, Neymar's out. And I think Messi will get at least one more goal, but I think that'll be his last goal. I don't think Müller will score that much. I'm sticking with James Rodriguez. I think that he's got the 2-goal cushion, which could be enough. And you know what? In a knockout stage that has been low scoring, it's going to be hard to score 2 goals. I think James takes it. Jake, your 3 award picks.
Wait, did you give all 3?
Yeah.
I don't remember 2. Did you say who was going to get the Golden Boot? Wait.
Best player was Messi.
All right. For best goalkeeper, I have a question, a historical question. Has best goalkeeper ever gone to a goalkeeper that did not make it to the semifinal?
That's a good question.
Because...
Are you Keylor Navas?
The way Keylor Navas performed for his team, I might be partially biased him because I picked him to be my breakout player at the beginning and prove that I actually can talk about soccer in an analytical way without sounding ridiculous. The way he played, the teams he played, the performance he put up, game in and game out. He gave up 1 goal to Uruguay. I don't think he gave up anything to England. That was a scoreless draw. He didn't give anything up to Italy. He did not give anything up to Netherlands until it came penalty kicks, and he did not give anything up to Greece. He gave up 1 goal.
By the way, yes, to your question, there has been. Michel Prudhomme of Belgium, interestingly enough, did it in 94, and Belgium was not a semifinalist.
Well, you know what? 20 years later, it's going to happen again.
Oh! Jake, this is even better for yours. Luis Gabello Conejo of Costa Rica had a joint win with Sergio Goycochea for best goalkeeper, and interestingly enough, Costa Rica did not make the semifinals that year in 90. So, Jake, a little parallel there.
If Keylor Navas, if the performance that Keylor Navas has put up in this World Cup is not enough to have him be the best goalkeeper in this World Cup, then I do not know what to say. Then it will be a shame that his team didn't make it to the semifinal, for he would have proven it again. Unbelievable performance. I don't see how he doesn't win best goalkeeper. Best goalkeeper, Keylor Navas, congratulations. Best, we're going to go top goal scorer. I would say it's James in any other situation. However, what we've learned this World Cup is that unless they are injured, the stars have come out to shine. Messi has shined. Mueller has scored a lot of goals. I'm going to say that Messi... Wait, can there be a tie? If it's 6-6, they just tie it, right?
No, but it's interesting. They give it to the player. I'm not exactly sure.
It should be a player who played less games.
I would agree as well. Let me see. 2010 World Cup, we had... I believe Mueller took it home. Despite tying... No, they had top scorers. They had 4 players, but I am still not exactly sure who took home the award.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens.
Here we go. Oh, all 3. So the golden boot went to Mueller. So I'm not exactly sure how it works. All I know is that Mueller beat Forlan, Schneider, and Villa, who all had 5 goals each.
Here we go. When in doubt, I'm going to pull a Noah here and say, I don't care what people say about Wikipedia. It's a good source. Are you happy?
No, yeah. I'm using Wikipedia right now.
I am too. Okay, World Cup Golden Boot. What do you just say? Yes, no, we don't need a list of them. Can you talk about tiebreakers? Wow. Wikipedia had its chance to shine, and it failed. Wikipedia is the Spain of Kickin It with Jake and Noah. If anyone does know, feel free to get into... Oh, here we go. Never mind.
The goal
Costa Rica. The tiebreaker goes to the player who has contributed the most assists, with the FIFA Technical Study Group deciding whether an assist is to be counted as such.
Are you sure? Because it says right here on FIFA World Cup Awards for Golden Boot, if there is still one or more player, the tiebreaker goes to the player who has played the least amount of time.
Yes, but the first tiebreaker goes to the player who has contributed the most assists.
You're right. So let's actually look that up right now. FIFA.com, more reliable website.
I believe it would be...
James. I'm pretty sure it's James.
Well, the point is, I think that Messi and James are going to tie 6 apiece in goals. So, no, we'll find that out while I tell you who is going to win Best Player of the World Cup. The stars came out to shine. No matter what, this is a fantastic World Cup. I'm really glad I was able to get into it this year. Great late goals, a lot of drama, theatrics, anticipation, and the big players coming out to play. Take notes, all the rest of the sports. If you're a superstar, we learned how to go out there and perform when everything was on the line. They risked everything, and the Nike executives are just swimming in dollar bills right now. They risk everything. But the player who risked even more than everything, if that's a thing, you score the most goals, you bring your team to the final game. I might have said it was Neymar had he not gone down, but I think we have to go with Messi. I'm sorry. Messi gets it. Well, you're looking that up. Shall I continue with our script?
Really quickly, if you want to see some interesting stats, I suggest you go to FIFA and go to the statistics, because it has the goals per game average, which is now down to 2.6. It's got the average amount of red cards and yellow cards, the average passes per team, and the actual playing time, which is interesting. Also got some of the top goals, best attacking, all of that. Castrol top 10 index, which is also interesting. Keylor Navas definitely still has his shot. I mean, he's got 21 saves and only 2 goals conceded. That's a 91% save rate, which is that's pretty impressive.
If you want to appear in the Castrol top 10 list, you have to be a high motor player.
That was Jake. That may be one of the worst ones we've had. That may be just... Oh. This is really getting irritating, but you just can't find the saves.
You just can't find it?
No. I found goals, tackles, saves, recovered balls, passes completed, top speed even. Which, by the way, James has had a higher top speed. In case you were wondering.
Well, then he's got to be on the Castro list, then.
Yeah, he's number 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see, will I ever find who has the most assists? That's, I think, the score. I think that's the story here. Assists! I found it! And the results...
Oh, I found it, too. You literally have to Google Lionel Messi assists, and it shows up. Messi has 1.
James has 2.
So, will he get 1 more? I'm going to say...
No, but if they tie that, it's who has played the least amount of games, and that would be James.
And so, James Rodriguez, congratulations.
Do you want to know the interesting thing? You know who has the most assists in the World Cup? Juan Cuadrado, another Colombian, with 4. That is 2 above anybody else. So assists, not really a big thing in this World Cup. But... it doesn't matter because, honestly, in the end, I don't think the players will remember necessarily how many goals they scored or what they did. They will only remember whether or not they won it. And for me and Jake, Brazil will be the champion of this year's World Cup. So we move on now to a little Luis Suarez talk. And there's been some interesting thing going around with him. Obviously the biting incident is pretty substantial. But now a new thing is coming out. Allegedly, Luis Suarez's deal with Barcelona was made in November. And if that is true, that'll open up an interesting discussion. And this was claimed by Uruguay coach Oscar Tabares, and that Liverpool decided to renege on the deal after what was a great season from Liverpool. However, it still looks that Suarez will find his way to Barcelona either way. Jake, what are your thoughts on this alleged topic?
Well, alleged topic. It may or may not be a topic. It's a developing story. No, it's certainly a topic, we can tell you that. 4 hours ago, this was published by the UK's The Mirror. Quote, Barcelona shirts featuring the name of Luis Suarez have already gone on sale. The Catalan Giants are in negotiations with Liverpool over a €75 million move to Spain, despite him being in the midst of a 4-month worldwide ban following his latest white shame. And although no deal has yet been agreed between his current club and the 4-time European Cup winners, one merchandiser in the region has already begun selling shirts with Suarez 9 on the back. Football Mania in Barcelona, an unofficial club store, have become the first store to sell the first shirts bearing the name of the 27-year-old. And here's what's really interesting. We could see perhaps a Jeremy Lin, Carmelo Anthony. What do Jeremy Lin and Carmelo Anthony have in common with Luis Suarez? Noah, who wears number 9 right now for Barcelona?
Alexis Sanchez.
Yes. And Alexis Sanchez is currently being targeted by
Liverpool
and Arsenal.
And Arsenal, yes.
So it's a very interesting situation. I don't really know what to believe in. I've lost a lot of respect for sort of the officials there. Do you know what the Uruguayan president said? There are certain words that I cannot say on air for It's a Family Show. But he called them fascists wimps. Ridiculous. Like, I don't like FIFA as much as the next person, but of all the things to call FIFA out for, it's for doing the one right thing that they have done. I don't even know anymore. It's a crazy situation. I don't really care where he goes. I'd like to see him go to Barcelona. It looks like it's bound to happen. I don't know if Liverpool really wants to deal with his antics anymore. That's a lot of money they can pick up. I believe it that he will go to Barcelona.
Yeah, and so of course, Estebar said that he actually signed a deal in November. They had agreed to it, but Liverpool decided to back out, and that he was already going to Barcelona all along. So that's definitely very interesting. Barcelona, this could definitely tarnish their reputation as being, a club that supports, good and, law-abiding players. But Suarez is definitely not law-abiding. He's biting, but not biting.
You could say that Barcelona's bark is louder than their bite.
Well, no, it would actually be the opposite. Their bite is louder than the bark now.
No, their bark is that they only put in nice players. So their bite is that
they bite.
They're taking players that they... It was a good pun, okay? I would have to redeem myself for Castro.
Okay. Next up, we're going... This I think this is a good transition. We're going from Suarez and Liverpool into more of a Premier League rundown. Talk about some of the transfers that have been going on. And this year could be one of the more interesting years if we can see Suarez going to Liverpool. I mean, not Liverpool, going to Barcelona. Alexis Sanchez potentially going to Liverpool. Luis van Gaal starting his revolution with Manchester United. Already making deals.
We're calling it a revolution.
That's what everybody's titling it. The Luis.
How about a tenure?
It's been referred to as a Luis van Gaal changes a lot of stuff. Look, Van Gaal's going to come in and buy a lot of players. He's already started that with Luke Shaw, allegedly going after Arturo Vidal, Juan Guillermo Cuadrado, many different players. We've got Arsenal, of course, also going after Alexis Sanchez, potentially Memo Ochoa or David Ospina. So it's going to be interesting, and we are going to start with Jake's favorite team, the Tottenham Hotspur, and for that, we will let Jake discuss it. Jake, what can you tell us about what's going on right now with Tottenham?
Well, talking about a lot of bark and no bite. There's been a lot of rumors going around, but we are still yet to see Mauricio Pochettino's new reign over the Spurs and this new management to get anybody. But there's a lot going on right now. The most popular big move rumor for this team is Dejan Lovren. He is actually good friends with Pochettino. Used to play with him when he was over in Southampton. Liverpool looked like they were going to sweep in and take him, but Liverpool's deal was rejected. So now we are all waiting anxiously to see if Lovren will come. Also, after Queen Park Rangers' €5 million bid to sign Toulouse's 21-year-old Ivory Coast international defender Serge Aurier has been rejected, Arsenal and Tottenham are re-entering the race for Serge Aurier. Tottenham will also do battle with Arsenal, as well as Napoli and Borussia Dortmund for Southampton's one-away French midfielder Morgan Schneiderlin, just 24 years old. But really what you have to turn your attention to, among other people, is what the Spurs are trying to do with a couple of Swansea City players, especially guys like Boni, and Ben Davies is another very popular name right now. Young player, a lot of potential. Spurs really want him and are willing to pay a decent price for him. We are yet to hear what Swansea has said about this, but we could see some very good players actually come to Tottenham. Mauricio Pochettino does have a shopping list. It doesn't look like Lukaku is going to be coming to Spurs. Jay Rodriguez of Southampton, Loic Remy of QPR, Mattia Destro of Roma, Adam Lallana from Southampton's not happening now after Liverpool got him, Alvaro Vadillo from Real Betis, of course Lovren, and Daley Blind even, rather optimistic. hope of Ajax and, as we mentioned before, Morgan Sparrow. So a lot of talk, but we're yet to see Tottenham make their first move of the transfer window. Keep your eye out on Lovren and really anyone wearing a Swans jersey.
Yeah, and another thing, we're talking about Serge Aurier. That was one of my breakout players, and I think that would be a phenomenal signing. Brings a lot of pace to that right back position. Also, Hugo Lloris, of course, deciding that he will be staying with Tottenham, which is definitely important for this team, having a world-class keeper like him, and it's good news if you are a Spurs fan.
And it likely means that Vertonghen might stay too.
That is true. Well, when we're talking about... You were talking about some Dutch players and some Belgian players. Now I'm going to talk about my team, Manchester United, of course, with Van Gaal. We're going to start off with the biggest rumor, and what could be this could actually be the biggest signing, depending on what happens with Suarez. Arturo Vidal, a $40 million deal that will include Nani to Juventus, and Manchester United would get Vidal. This would be a great deal. Nani has been interested in Juventus for quite a while, so this would work out very well. Manchester United already signed Ander Herrera, and he's a midfielder, but now you bring in Vidal, and that would ensure that United would have a good midfield once again. It would be a talented midfield. Some other rumors. The number one choice at center back for Luis van Gaal, besides De Vrij, who will most likely be there, Mats Hummels, the German international. That could be interesting there as well. That would provide a good center back combination, one that hasn't been around since Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic were fully healthy. That would be interesting to see Mats Hummels and De Vrij line up. Also, they are considering going after Benfica midfielder Enzo Perez, who came in for Argentina, apparently a $23.7 million deal. And also, the United's also going after Daryl Janmaat, another one of Louis van Gaal's Dutch internationals. Apparently a $4 million bill, but the Dutch club Feyenoord, where Janmaat currently plays, wants $7 million. That would be a cheap deal. And also Wilfried Zaha, one of their older deals from a while ago, a young winger who has been playing at Cardiff after playing with Crystal Palace for a while, who belongs to Manchester United. Apparently, Van Gaal will decide soon whether or not the young winger will be playing with Manchester United in the upcoming season. Another few little rumors. Apparently, Real Madrid offered Di Maria to Manchester United. Not often that you are actually offered a player. Normally, it's how much do we need to pay you for this player? No, Real Madrid said, how much will you pay us if we give you this player?
And right now, they're in battle with Paris Saint-Germain. 47 million euros. A lot of big bucks being thrown around in this battle. And what about your boy James Rodriguez?
James, but he's always wanted to play. Manchester United wants him, but unfortunately, the real contention comes from La Liga, which is the place where he has most been rumored to want to go. But that could be a possibility. I think the bigger potential of Colombia is Juan Guillermo Cuadrado, who Manchester United has been rumored to want, as has Liverpool. He is a right midfielder, of course, and if they could add him and Vidal, and also put that with Ander Herrera, that would be quite the midfield and a threat in the season to come.
But of course, the team that's made the most noise so far in the transfer window in the Premier League would be Liverpool, and they are far from done. Right now, they're battling with Arsenal to grab the 30-year-old Dutch striker Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, according to the Daily Star. Sheridan Shaqiri, Switzerland's 22-year-old midfielder, will now have to decide whether he wants to stay with Munich on a new contract or move over to Anfield, according to the Express. And how about some MLS names coming up? Liverpool are considering to make a move for the Seattle Sounders' DeAndre Yedlin in a bid to increase their defensive options, according to Metro. And from the Daily Telegraph, the Liverpool are closing in on their fourth summer signing following a €25 million move for Benfica winger Lazar Markovic. And finally, central defender Daniel Agger has been offered to Spanish Giants Barcelona, according to Mundo Deportivo.
Okay, so when we're talking about some other news, some other teams, because we got to talk about some other ones. Everton and Chelsea are doing some talks for Dembaba. Of course, Chelsea brought in Diego Costa, no longer need Dembaba as a striker. Everton could use him, and I am sure Roberto Martinez would be interested in that. Ashley Cole, no longer a Chelsea man. The signing is all but complete as AS Roma welcome Ashley Cole. For the first time in his career, he will not be playing for Chelsea. Those are some of the news. Also, Arsenal are tracking a couple of goalkeepers. Darlow, Memo Ochoa, and, of course, David Ospina. And Southampton now. They're looking at...
How can you forget about Victor Valdez?
Oh, Victor...
Man, you and Arsenal are watching a battle to sign Valdez.
No, but Valdez is going to AS Monaco. His agent has literally said that they already signed an agreement, and though Monaco doesn't want him, he wants to go to Monaco.
All right, then.
Southampton, though, wants now Colombian left back Pablo Armero to replace Luke Shaw. Of course, Armero belongs to Udinese. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. As you said, Markovic and Liverpool have come to a deal, and that is about as much. There's a lot of other smaller rumors saying what will happen with Lukaku, what will happen with Courtois, what will happen with Lovren. Of course, as you said, it'll be interesting to see what happens. By the way, really quickly, Arsenal, they know what they want to pay, and that's $32 million for Sanchez. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
According to the Daily Mail, it's actually going to be around $34 million. Arsenal are actually also, again, if you remember last summer, they were looking for Lars Bender. They couldn't get him. They're rebooting the effort this summer. They're also going after Lars Bender. And Arsene Wenger is closing in on the signings of Alexis Sanchez and Matthew Debuchy, according to the Daily Telegraph. And I think that is finally about it. Interesting season coming up.
Yeah, and we will definitely be doing predictions in terms of each individual league. But next, I think we're going to talk about the team that is always involved in being one of the most, if not the most, active teams. But before we do that, on a much more sad note, Alfredo Di Stefano, Real Madrid and Italy legend, passed away today. He had a heart attack a few days ago and unfortunately was unable to make it. It's sad to see a legend go, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody, who's close with him, as well as with him. Yes?
Yeah, there's also one more, there's also another thing, though, since we were just talking about the UK and the Premier League. Today is July 7th, 7/7 as it is known. In London, this was July 7th, 2005, when there were bombings there. 52 civilians were killed and over 700 more were injured. Today is the 9th anniversary of this terrorist attack, and so, again, we remember the victims, and we hope that those who were injured have fully recovered, but we will never forget the tragic events that happened on that day as well.
Yeah, it's tough. On a happier note that has nothing to do with soccer, today is Satchel Paige's birthday. Yay! But let's go to...
Who's Satchel Paige?
You don't
that was kind of random.
Do you know who Satchel Paige is, really?
I feel like he's a baseball player.
He was really good. Also, here's another interesting thing. Remember how there was that article that got Randall Cobb's name wrong? And wrote Reggie Cobb?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, there was a football player whose birthday is today. He was born in 1968. His name is Reggie Cobb.
Oh, how about that?
Just an interesting note out there if you guys were interested. But we move on now. Real Madrid. They have plenty of options, plenty of news. Di Maria, of course, being offered to Manchester United, and Real Madrid making a new deal with Benzema. Why? Because they don't want him to go to Arsenal. But will he be a starter? It doesn't look like he will be. Falcao has an interesting clause in his contract with AS Monaco saying that he can't go anywhere. But if Real Madrid wants him, he can go there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. It looks like he will be wearing the white next year. It looks like that Real Madrid is willing to pay the amount. Also, Paul Pogba has been rumored to be in a Di Maria swap, which could be interesting because that would bring Pogba to Real Madrid. Also, James Rodriguez, probably their most likely signing target to replace Angel Di Maria, bringing in 2 Colombian dynamic players. Also, Raheem Sterling, of course. This team has a lot that they could do. And it'll be definitely very interesting to see what they will do. Tony Cruz probably going there as well. Cadero wants to stay, but he could go. See, when you're looking at Real Madrid, anything could happen. Even Fabio Cannavaro wants a Real Madrid return. The guy who was once one of the elite defenders in football and, of course, retired. But he wants a return. Everybody wants to go to Real Madrid right now after that Champions League win. Jake, some of your thoughts on what's going on with Real Madrid?
Well, again, I'm sort of new to the European football stage. By the way, we mentioned earlier that Liverpool was in pursuit of Yedlin, another team that he is really linked to. Speaking of two-horse races, since we're talking about the Spanish League, it's down to Liverpool and Roma. So we'll see where Yedlin goes. But back to here, I started following European football in January, February. And I've come to learn that in Spain, it's really just a two-horse race, and Real Madrid's got all the money. It's basically Real Madrid, Barcelona have all the money, and then it's everybody else, and then Atletico Madrid maybe had a nice year this year. What do I think? Yeah, everyone wants to come out. This is what happens when you build up. This is what happens when you win games. You build pedigree, you get a reputation, you get more money, you win more games, which gives you a better reputation, more money, and it's an endless cycle. It's cool. There's no salary cap, and these things can happen. Dynasties can be made, but they could also be broken. So the way Real Madrid's been playing their cards, and the fact that they've become such a hot destination, I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, so James Rodriguez was recently valued at 75 million euros, but that's been increased to 80 million. And Real Madrid is prepared to pay that. They've decided that they will most likely make this deal. And interestingly enough, Monaco is interested in a couple of their players, including Fabio Contrao, Casemiro, Alvaro Morata, and Diego Lopez. Of course, they're in need of a goalkeeper, and Victor Valdez, after getting injured, is not really their idea of a healthy keeper for the future. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. By the way, in case you're wondering how much 80 million euros is in US dollars, it is approximately,
I'm assuming it's about 100.
It's $108,852,000. So yeah, like my daily salary basically.
Oh yeah, for sure. We get paid the big bucks here at Kicking It with Jake and Noah. We're just a startup. We're just 4 episodes in, but we're really doing well, and I think NBC is actually looking into us. They're kind of desperate, but we're not complaining.
Real Madrid is seeking a transfer rumor, trying to get National Sports to send Kickin' It to them.
It's down to a two-horse race between NBC and Time Warner Cable. Because in case they haven't made enough fans miserable by stealing the Dusters away, now they will take us from you. We care. Orlando City is going to be a popular thing. I've really beaten a dead horse now with that joke. Don't let me talk about Orlando City ever again until spring. Deal?
Okay, you got it. Well, of course.
So how about we talk about the ICC? And not the International Cricket Council. How about we preview the International Champions Cup? Is that correct?
Yes. Moving on to the ICC as we approach that hour mark. This year, including, unfortunately, not an MLS team, as we had last time in the Galaxy, put on a great showing, as a matter of fact, making the top 4. Yes, actually, it was pretty impressive.
Yes, the teams competing this year: Real Madrid, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool. We have Milan, Inter. We have AC Milan, we have Inter Milan, we have Roma, and Olympiacos from Greece.
So 3 Premier League teams, 3 Serie A teams, 1 Super League Greece, and 1 La Liga. By the way, we're most likely talking to people in the U.S., so if you want to see one of these games, here's where you can catch them. There's going to be some games in Denver at Sports Authority Field, Berkeley, California at California Memorial Field, FedEx Field in Washington, Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Heinz Field, Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Soldier Field here in Chicago, New York City, Yankee Stadium. We got in Minneapolis, TCF Bank Stadium, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, Sun Life Stadium in Miami, and last but not least, BMO Field in Toronto, which is, I believe, the smallest stadium that there will be.
As an Angelino, I am hurt that the Rose Bowl was not selected, especially the contingency and how much soccer has grown in this city, in this area of Southern California alone. I'm a little hurt. You're going to get a lot more people coming out here in Southern California than Northern California. I mean, no offense to Berkeley. You gave the Packers Aaron Rodgers, and I will be forever in that. But come on. The Rose Bowl getting snubbed for a soccer event by even Canada. No offense to Canada either. But 13 stadiums in, I don't know. I take it personally. Take it personally.
Group A is probably the stronger of the two groups. You got Inter Milan, Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Roma. But it's another strong group in Group B with Milan, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Olympiacos. And we will start the first game on the 24th of July, Olympiacos versus Milan. Really quickly, your score prediction of that game. Putting you on the spot.
Okay,
here.
Sure.
Random.
Let's do it. Are we really going to give a score prediction for every single game? That's a lot of games.
We're not even. No explanation. Just score.
2-0 Milan.
Okay. Why not upset Olympiacos 1-0? Next up, Manchester United versus Roma. Manchester United gonna have a lot of new players. 3-2. Jake.
Sure, why not? 2-0. Luis Van Gaal makes 3 genius substitutions that way.
Next up, the same day, Real Madrid versus Inter. 2-0 Real. Jake.
3 and a $0 Real Madrid.
Next up, on the 27th of July, we have 2 games. Milan, Manchester City. I'm going to go with the first. Tie at 2-2. Jake.
Coming off that Premier League win, Manchester City keeps it going. 2-1, they win in Heinz Field.
We've got now Liverpool, Olympiacos. And I already had one upset. This is in Soldier Field now in Chicago. Liverpool 2-1. Jake.
Hopefully Suarez doesn't prefer Greek. Liverpool 2-1.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one, Jake.
Thank you.
29th of July, Manchester United versus Inter. Manchester United keeps it going with a 2-1 win over Inter Milan. Jake.
We draw 1-1.
Also that day, Real Madrid Roma. Keeping it going against the Italian teams. They pick up the win 3-1. Jake.
I'm going to say 2-2.
Jake pulling out the gutsy
The
pick.
upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For August 2nd games, we will start with the first game that day, which will be Inter Milan versus Roma in the battle of the Italians, but I think it ends up in a draw, and essentially making it very difficult for either of these teams to go through. 1-1. Jake.
What was... that's no fun. A draw between the 2 Italian teams. Now, we'll give it to Roma and Balotelli. 2-1.
Next up, Jake, we have... Let's see here. Manchester
the
City
team
versus...
that you're going to. You should know.
No, it's Manchester City and
Man City and Olympiacos.
I'm going to go here with a tie. Let's make it a really high-scoring tie. 3-3.
Scoreless draw. Because we can. Now game that you're going to.
Yeah.
Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Ann Arbor.
You know who I'm going with here. 3-2 Real Madrid.
$sign to $sign.
$sign to $sign?
Look, if algebra taught me anything, that means it's going to be a draw. So, 1-1. They just throw money at each other.
Okay, well, obviously coming out of that group would mean Real Madrid is coming out, unfortunately, for Manchester United, Roma, and Inter. But good for me. I'll be excited to watch my 2 favorite teams go head-to-head. The last game, Milan versus Liverpool. Look, by this point, Liverpool will have tied 1-1. I think they tie 1. That'll make them at 4 points. I have Milan losing and losing. Liverpool here has their shot to go through, and I think they do. I think they take it in a 2-1 win.
I'm really interested to see what will happen here. I'd like to see what Milan does. Liverpool defeats Milan 3-2.
So they will have a goal differential of +2. Manchester City, however, has a goal differential of +3. So Manchester City will be going through for me. Who do you have going through? If you don't want to calculate it, just say who you think is going through.
Oh, wow. I thought you were calculating for me. I was like, wow, that's really impressive. No.
I didn't listen to your scores that much.
Dollar sign to dollar sign. Goal differential dollar sign to negative dollar sign. Okay. Liverpool will come through out of Group B. And Group A, sure, Real Madrid.
So we got Real Madrid versus Manchester City for me. That's a lot of dollar signs there. That's not just dollar sign to dollar sign. That's like triple dollar sign against double dollar sign. I'm going with that exact score. 3-2, Real Madrid wins the ICC. Jake, you've got Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Who will be this year's champion?
You know, I think Liverpool kind of wants it more. They haven't won in a while. Real Madrid, they don't really care. You just got one. You just got.
Hey, they won it last year.
Even more of a reason, not much motivation to win. Liverpool, this would mean a lot for them. Okay, Liverpool, we'll be nice. 2-1, Liverpool. You'll never walk alone.
Unless you are walking alone, which in that case you will. I mean, is there? That's kind of like a stalker message, though. You'll never walk alone. What if you want to be alone? There's just some guy following you. I can't let you walk alone. You're a Liverpool fan. Oh, okay. Well, FIFA, of course, moves on after the World Cup.
Sadly, FIFA will still exist after the World Cup.
There are some interesting things, though, to look forward to. I mean, basically, immediately after, if the ICC isn't enough for you, the U19 UEFA Championship, who will qualify to the FIFA U20 World Cup in New Zealand in 2015 next year, 30th of May to the 20th of June. And, of course, you will also have the FIFA Women's World Cup next year. And if you're a South America soccer fan, you will have the Copa America. So it's quite the year coming up in 2015 where we will have a lot of action. I am most looking forward to the FIFA U20 World Cup in New Zealand. It'll also be cool because New Zealand will have like a tournament there. It'll be interesting to see how it is and how New Zealand will do. So with that,
they were the only undefeated team in the 2010 World Cup.
The only undefeated team, but they
undefeated team. They had 3 draws. They didn't advance, but they never lost.
New Zealand's
Spain lost a group stage game, even though they won it all.
New Zealand's new slogan: "We don't lose, but we don't win."
I believe that we will draw.
Oh, that's the best slogan. So we're gonna move on now to our new segment, Own Goal, which, to clarify, is not actually us scoring own goals. It's just funny soccer news. And you know what? Own Goal is a good name, so why not? And we're going to start off with Watermelon Head Man. The guy who wore a watermelon on his head to Brazil. And, of course, he is now the big thing. Congratulations to him. Also, I feel like that would be really unfun to have a watermelon on your head during a soccer game. And fruit flies, maybe?
I don't know. Hey, he has better fashion sense than Liverpool, obviously, or Warrior, the company who designed them. No offense, but have you seen Liverpool's third kit? It was released earlier today. And, well, Twitter and really everybody, even Liverpool's own fans, were very, very upset. I think Noah will appreciate this, especially one user at BPV103 tweeted, "Remind me to never complain about the Man U kit again," and retweeting the release of the Liverpool third kit. Oh, wow. I thought it couldn't get worse after purple and black last year. I just don't know what they're thinking over there. They'd probably rather wear watermelons on their head.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to move on to a guy who decided that, you know what, why not get a tattoo mocking Luis Suarez? The tattoo has some bite marks on his back, and it reads, Suarez was here. It's basically saying Suarez was here. It's kind of missing the H, but I'm gonna guess that he is probably how he spells it. But it's got 4 little bite marks, and it says Suarez was here. That's probably one of the worst ideas for a tattoo I've ever seen. And it's on his shoulder, so that's even better. Jake.
Well, you think players are upset when they get a red card. This was uploaded to Deadspin earlier today. Alhaji Kamara equalized for Norrköping in the Swedish side's 2-2 draw with the Örebro yesterday. Then the 92nd minute, the striker was sent off with his second yellow. What was his reaction? Let's find out. If you speak Swedish... Oh, here we go. Oh my god. I don't know if you could hear that. Wow.
I could hear it, but I'm not sure what I heard.
Oh my gosh, that wasn't an own goal. That was like getting bitten by 3 Luis Suarez's.
What was it? How did he react?
Oh, you didn't hear it?
It's in Swedish.
No. You didn't hear the high-pitched screaming in the back?
Oh, there was a high-pitched scream?
Listen. Listen closely.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Keep listening.
Yeah, I heard that.
Come on, Esmond, it's much better when you watch the audio too, because he just sprints right off the field. He's done with this. He's running and he's screaming.
We'll make sure to post that on the Facebook page, as well as some of the pictures of the tattoo, the Liverpool kit, and our last story, no Pirlo, no party. So, Andrea Pirlo, of course, one of the older players, but that doesn't mean that he knows how to party. He wore a shirt saying no Pirlo, no party, basically making himself the coolest guy at the World Cup. And I think I'm going to buy a no Pirlo, no party shirt. I think I have to. I think I need that shirt now. But a couple of interesting stories, and there will be sure to be more funny stories in the week to come, as well as transfer news, and probably next time we'll be doing a show, we will know who will be playing in the finals. We will know who will be playing the third place game. Unfortunately, we still won't know the World Cup winner, but it's going to be exciting. I know everybody out there, including myself, is gearing up for what should be an end to what was a phenomenal tournament and one of the most memorable tournaments in recent year.
And I would also like to point something out. There's still more World Cup to be talked about. The FIFA's anti-racism committee, apparently they haven't been doing that much. Neymar says he'll play in the finals. Some doctors say that might paralyze him. Do you think he'd actually do it? And is there a morality issue with the way Brazil and Netherlands played in their quarterfinal games, as well as the officiating for Colombia, Brazil, Netherlands, Costa Rica? Those controversial topics will be discussed on tonight's episode of my show, Rookies Roundup. Noah will be there too, as well as our correspondent, Carl Mugline. So tune in later tonight to hear about that, as well as all other sports news we have to offer.
Okay, so with that, thank you for listening in to Kickin It with Jake and Noah. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I hope you've learned a good, decent amount, if you didn't know, about what's happened in the Premier League, what's going on with Real Madrid, and what's going on in the World Cup. I know you guys are excited as Jake and I are, about the World Cup. We hope you have a great rest of your Monday, enjoy the rest of the World Cup. Enjoy the rest of your summer and anything in it that is involving soccer or any other sport, except for golf.
This is me bashing Germany at the end. You're going to go with golf. Here's what I'm going to say. May your week be filled with many dollar signs, whatever that means. Who knows? But happiness. Enjoy your soccer, and maybe convince yourself to watch one MLS game. If you can tolerate it, you might win a prize. It's Liverpool's third kit. Don't watch it.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Beautiful, beautiful, well said. So with that, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you later.